First Reformed is the newest from Paul Schrader, who directed and wrote the screenplay. He's most famous for working with Martin Scorsese, having written Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, and The Last Temptation of Christ. Schrader's also an accomplished director in his own right, most notably with the 1985 film Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters. From the production company A24, First Reformed is an incredibly powerful, emotional film. It deals with religious, philosophical, and political topics in an intelligent, thoughtful way that's never preachy or heavy-handed. It's a pretty serious and at times depressing movie with a few moments of levity, but they're only good for a slight chuckle. It's hard to tell where First Reformed is going, especially in the beginning, and to me that's definitely a good thing. So many films are predictable, and this one avoids that without anything you'd really call a plot twist. The pace isn't quick, and while some might call parts of it slow, that has a negative connotation, and the way this film moves forward is perfect for the way the story unfolds. I was never bored at any time, but I am used to movies that have a more leisurely pace. Ethan Hawke stars as a troubled priest, and he gives an amazing performance and carries the movie. He never overacts and says so much with just subtle facial expressions. I don't know if this is particularly likely, and it's way too early to say for sure, but I think he should at least get some consideration for an Oscar nomination. The second biggest role is played by Amanda Seyfried, and she's perfectly fine, but didn't particularly impress me. The dialogue is very well written. The characters talk about specific political topics like the environment and religious extremism in a realistic way, which is not something you often see in films. There's narration, but it's not used as a crutch or for exposition. I loved the cinematography, as there are plenty of long takes that really make the scenes feel real and immerse you in the situation. The camera is often static, and when it isn't, the movement is methodical and precise. It's also shot in a boxy 1.37:1 aspect ratio, which is rare to see in modern films. Towards the end, there's a surreal sequence that I won't spoil by describing, but it takes you by surprise and is stunning to look at. The score is from the ambient industrial musician Lustmord. It's used minimally, but it's haunting and atmospheric, and gives off a vague sense of unease and dread. First Reformed doesn't feel like a typical Oscar film, but I think there's at least an outside chance it could get some nominations, possibly for screenplay or Best Picture. It's easily one of the best films I've seen this year in theaters so far, and I could see it ending up in my top 10 or so at the end of 2018. Critics seem to be enjoying it just as much, as it has an almost perfect 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and an 86 on Metacritic. The film cost $3.5 million to make, and while it's only made $600,000 at the box office, it's just starting its wider release. That's all for this review. Please don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for listening.